Alright, so if you're watching this video, if you don't know who I am, I'm Bash. I'm going to be somebody, and you're gonna see my face again and again and again. And I'm not going to stop until I take over the space. And now this video is gonna be talking about the law of attraction and how I really used it in order for me to become successful. And obviously it didn't happen without the will of God, right? Nothing happens without the will of God. Everything happens because of the will of God, right? The one above, the only one creator. And now, let's backtrack, right? Let's go back. 4 months ago, I was a worker at a restaurant called Olive Garden. You probably know what Olive Garden is. You know, they're known for their Alfredo sauce and their breadsticks. But I worked there for 3 whole years. And the reason why I worked there for 3 years, because every time I went and tried a business model, I would quit that job, right? Like when I was 15, 16, I started a clothing brand, right? And I started reselling as well. And then I quit my job and I went all in. And then when I went all in, it just didn't go well, right? And then a year later, I went back to the same job. 17 years old, I'm working at the same exact job that I was at 16. So then when I was 17 years old, it reminded me that I hated the job. So I'm like, okay, I need to figure something out, right? Just like how everybody else is, right? They don't like the job they're in, and they want to get out, and they try a business model, and it doesn't work out, right? That's everybody. But with me, I was like, no. There's no way I end up like this for the rest of my life, because I see people working there for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to end up like that, right? And I also don't want to go to college and be stuck with the traditional college route. And I also don't want to depend on my dad, right? Because my dad, he already did a lot for me. So I had all this pressure, and I was like, nah, you know what? I'm going to go all in. So 17 years old, I got into TikTok shop, actually. This is where I started doing content. This is where I got good with, content. And then, I got my account banned, but I still made some decent money. And then I got into e-com, right? And then again, we can all probably predict what happened. It didn't go well. I failed. I failed again. And then now I'm like, 18 years old? I have to go back to the same job again because I'm not bringing in any money. So then this is the third time of me failing. Imagine that, third time of me failing, and I'm going back to the same job. And then at this moment, when I went back at this job, I'm 18 years old. The managers and everybody, they saw me grow up. Do you realize how shit I felt? Do you not realize how worthless I felt? Obviously, not everything is about money. Obviously, you're not worth money. But at the same time, that's just how I felt, right? So then I was like, I have to figure something out. So then I started working months and months, 5 days a week, 30 to 40 hour weeks, just hustling and just stacking up as much money as I can. And then I got into trading, right? Trading was actually not going bad. It was going pretty well. And then a year passed by, and I was a year into trading, and then it was Ramadan, right? Because I'm Muslim. And I made a special prayer. I said, hey, God, please make me successful. And it was the day where I made 5K in a single day. I made 5K in a single day, and I prayed to God. I was like, hey, God, please make me rich. Please make me successful. I can feel it. I can feel me becoming successful. This is it. This is the time where I show up. And then the next day, I failed. The next day, I lost all of the money. All of the money, I lost it. And I was in disbelief. I prayed to God and I told him, please make me successful. And then, boom, all the money is gone. So then I was like, okay, God is just testing my patience. Let me keep going. And I kept losing more money and more money and more money. 3 years of just straight failing. 3 years. And what I was thinking the whole time in these 3 years, I was like, okay, I know I'm going to become rich. I know I'm going to be successful. And I know in order for me to become that person that already has the millions, I have to act as if I'm already that person. So every day I made sure I just kept trying and trying and trying. Yeah, sure, it took me a long time. Sure, it may take you a shorter time or maybe a longer time. But for me, I know if I showed up every day and I had conviction in God, he was going to award me heavily, right? And that's what I did. So then, May rolls around. In May, this is where I legit have nothing to my name. I've lost everything into trading. I over leveraged. I borrowed money from my brother, from my dad, from my friend. and money for my credit. I was down $2,000 in my credit. I was down $200. I was negative $200 in my PNC bank account. I was down so much money to the point where I was so depressed, and I realized that I was low-key a failure. And then my dad was getting mad at me. He was like, you know, you keep trying these businesses. You're not even focusing in school. Your brother is ahead of you. You don't even know what's your college schedule. Your head is not in the game. What are you doing? He's on me. He's getting mad at me. And honestly, I don't blame him, because I was losing and losing and losing. And then I just made a prayer. I said, God, look, listen. Whenever you know that I'm ready, please just guide me to success. I'm waiting. I'm patient. Just whenever it happens, it happens. Then someday, you know, one of my boys, he got into high ticket sales. One thing led to another. Now I'm DM setting. I got into high ticket sales. And then my first 2 weeks, I made $800. I mean, I paid off some off my credit, and most definitely my debit card, right? And then it was Mother's Day. And on Mother's Day, actually, I had no money to my name. And I was working on Mother's Day. And on that night, I made $200. But I still needed to pay off my credit. And then when I came home, I saw my mom. She was cleaning dishes. She was working hard. And I really felt bad. And I could tell that she was expecting something for Mother's Day. And so I gave her $50. To me, that was a lot. I was like, you know, I'm just going to give her $50. And honestly, I really needed that $50 because I also owed $100 to my boxing coach because I used to box. And then, like, I heard her talking to my dad saying that, oh, like, he only gave me $50, blah, blah, blah. Before we even get into anything, she wasn't ungrateful. She just thought that I had more money. She just genuinely thought that I had more money. My parents had no idea what was going on. They had no idea. The last thing that she knew was that I made $5K in a single day. So imagine how disappointed I felt with myself. And then after that, you know, I started to lock in and I started setting, started making money. Everything was starting to roll and get better. And then one day I decided to go play basketball. And when I went to go play basketball, I got injured badly. It was so bad. I blacked out. I got a concussion. I dislocated my shoulder. And I went to the hospital, the emergency room. And then I came back home. I didn't remember nothing. I still don't remember anything from that night. And then the next night, I woke up like this, frozen. And I was so scared. I've never, ever felt like that ever in my life. I was straight up sitting there frozen. I couldn't move. My back was hurting. My arm was hurting. I couldn't move my arm. I didn't remember what happened that day or the day before or the week before or the month before on anything. Like, you know, I never had a concussion before. So if you had a concussion, you probably know what I mean. But it wasn't a normal concussion. My whole body was injured. I was seriously scared. Like, I didn't know if I got hit by a car. I didn't know what happened, but it genuinely felt like I got hit by a car. Straight up. It felt like I was ran over or something. And I was just sitting there. I was just crying. I was just crying. And in that moment, I realized that nobody was going to save me. At that moment, I realized that nobody was going to come and save me. And I looked to the right. The only person that was truly there is my mom. The door opens. The person that's truly there is my dad. And then I get calls. The only person that's calling me is my brother. But in the end, when they all leave, they all left me, you know, because they have stuff to do. And I'm just sitting there. And I realized that nobody is going to save you until you save yourself. Seriously, nobody's going to save you. Nobody cares. Nobody cares who you are until you become somebody. Seriously, nobody cares who you are until you are somebody. And when I realized that, that's when everything changed. That's when a switch just flipped in my fucking head. That's when I realized that I need to change my life. That's when I realized that I needed to stop being a lazy piece of shit and commit every single day. And guess what? That month, sure, I only made like $800, but then the next month I hit 4.5K. No, 4K, around 4K. And then the next month I hit my first ever 10K. And then the next month, which is this month, I'm on track to make $30,000. Yep. And all because I just stayed patient with God. All because I knew that in order for me to become that person that I need to become, I have to act as if I'm already that person. That is the law of attraction. I had so much faith in God to the point where I detached myself from the results and really, really trusted Him. God said it Himself. He said, He will not change the situation you are in until you change within yourself. He said that. And honestly, I just wanted to make this video to make you realize that anybody can do this. And I'm going to document more of my life, and you're going to see me hit 30K a month. You're going to see me hit 50K a month. You're going to see me hit 100K a month, 500K a month. You're going to see me buy my first ever supercar on this channel. You're going to see me buy my first ever penthouse on this channel. You're going to see me do all of these things. And I'm here to inspire you. I'm here to show you that anybody can do it. I don't think you guys realize, but I'm over here on this desk. Not desk, on this table. On a random night. Look, let me show you guys. Do y'all see how fucking empty this is? Do y'all see how empty this is? Nobody's here. Nobody. Everything is closed. Everything. I'm using free Wi-Fi on my computer. That is how bad I want it. That is how bad I want it. And I'm going to keep fighting for it. And I'm not going to stop until I do what I need to do. If you're watching this video, truly, you can become successful. You can become that millionaire. I promise you. And I'm going to prove it to you. Seriously. As long as I impacted at least one person off of this video, that's all that matters. That's all that matters. But yeah.